How did this game fail? It was a fighting game developed by Arc System Works, one of the most celebrated developers in the industry and the team behind Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear Strive. They were taking on one of the most popular video games of all time, an IP that has a larger gross than Star Wars, Harry Potter, and the entire Avengers series. Combining these two titans of the industry together had the potential to be one of the biggest fighting game releases of the year, but it fizzled out in less than a month. This is what happened to DNF Duel. If you like fighting games and want to learn about other lesser-known titles, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you're from North America, you might be thinking, DNF? What's that?
Oh my god! What is that?
Dungeon Fighter Online is one of the most played games in the world. It's a multiplayer beat-em-up action role-playing game that came out in Korea in 2005. As of 2023, DFO has more than 850 million players worldwide and a total revenue of $22 billion, making it not only one of the highest nominal grossing video games of all time, but one of the highest grossing pieces of media ever created. So when DFO's publisher, Neopol, wanted to create a fighting game for their immensely popular IP, they approached the hottest developer on the market, Arc System Works. ArcSys is the team responsible for Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Xrd, Guilty Gear Strive, and many others. Their resume for making deep technical fighting games is one of the best on the market. Plus, DFO's anime aesthetic fits perfectly with Arc System's animation style. So, the two joined forces along with Ating, the developer behind Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and created DNF Duel. Upon release, the game was praised, and many said it was better than they expected.
I'm just glad that we got a fighting game that prioritizes special moves and makes special moves very special. Ating has essentially proven the fact that they can still make fighting games. This is like an 8 out of 10, right? It's good. I think an 8 out of 10 is an absolute solid when it comes to this game, and it could have been much worse.
Often, fighting games based on existing IPs can be underwhelming, with publishers expecting the game to be carried by the popularity of the franchise rather than the quality of the gameplay. Sure, compared to Guilty Gear Strive, DNF Duel is somewhat simpler, but with many new players likely coming in from DFO, it makes sense to make a simpler fighting game, which is easy to pick up but still deep enough to keep experienced players coming back for more.
And I'm fucking addicted, so I can't quit!
Each character in DNF Duel fits an MMO archetype. You have the Berserker, Grappler, Inquisitor, etc., all based on classes from the Dungeon Fighter universe. Drawing from the source material, the game uses an MP bar which can be used to activate skills. Each skill is unique to each character and regenerates over time. This MP bar system is not new in fighting games, but definitely makes DNF Duel stand out from others on the market. On top of this, the game was built for beginners. For example, rather than forcing you to learn quarter circles and charge moves, DNF Duel featured simplified keyboard inputs that boiled down to holding a direction and pressing a button. For more experienced players, and/or those using a fight stick, they could use traditional motion inputs to perform the exact same moves, but with the added benefit of having their MP bar start regenerating immediately rather than having a cooldown. So while there was some incentive to learn motion inputs, it was by no means necessary to start playing and having fun. And while some argued that this wasn't much of a benefit, for new players, it was great. Generally speaking, DNF Duel had a lot going for it, and even big content creators were excited about its potential.
Yeah, get ready for this! Yeah, bitch! What's up, man?
Unfortunately, despite the relative quality of the game, Ating, the team that ArcSys joined forces with, completely dropped the ball. You know who won't drop the ball? Us, in releasing quality content, so make sure to like and subscribe. Upon release, the game was pretty unbalanced. For a title that was inviting new players from the DFO community to try out fighting games for the first time, getting Touch of Death right out the gate is a good way to turn off any new player base that may be forming. But hey, these things happen in fighting games, and they're easy to remedy. All it takes is a balance patch, or at least some communication from the developer. Unfortunately, the bare minimum proved to be too much. When DNF Duel released, there was radio silence. Nothing. The game released, had a very solid launch with 12,000 concurrent players, and after collecting their money, Aiting said,
"Bye, have a great time."
And this was not a good business decision. Fighting games are notoriously difficult, and getting fighting game players to switch over from a game they've already invested hundreds of hours into mastering is a tall order.
Throw the controller 2 times? What the fuck does that mean?
So when you have 12,000 players trying out a game, one of the ways you can keep them around is to reassure them that you're not going to abandon them right away. This can be done through a battle pass, DLC character announcements, or support of a competitive scene. Let's compare DNF Duel's release with that of Arc System's previous title, Guilty Gear Strive. 6 weeks after Strive released, they announced the first DLC character, Gold Lewis, as well as a roadmap of content for the foreseeable future. This gave players a reason to come back, since ArcSys was clearly serious about supporting this game for the long haul. DNF Duel did none of this. It wasn't until September, 3 months after the game's release, that the devs finally put out some sort of statement.
The developers for DNF Duel actually had an update for the game. We have an update planned for the end of September to fix the bugs. Screen freezes, online matches, input issues on Steam. Yeah, these are kind of like things that have been permeating. We're looking into other bugs and have future updates planned. Future updates!
Yeah!
Our direction is to add only buffs for all characters. Oh boy. It'll take some time, but we'll share more details later. We're working every day with confidence that it'll satisfy the players. So get excited. That's it.
You get a balance pack.
Yeah! A balance pack. Hey, it's buffs, man. It's buffs for everyone, so grab.
Yeah, no new characters announced, no balance patch until December, and basically nothing of substance. Though they never said it explicitly, some blamed the game's release on the timing of the Arc World Tour. The ArcSys sponsored tournament series featured 2 games in 2022, Guilty Gear Strive and DNF Duel. The rationale is that leading up to the tour, and while it was happening, it wouldn't make sense to release new characters or balance patches, as it would be unfair to the competitors. Whether this is true or not, the lack of content and communication is what ultimately killed DNF Duel. Within 4 months, the game went from 12,000 concurrent players to barely even 50. While the game did get some updates over the next few years, with the player base spiking to 600 in July of 2023 and almost 300 players in December, it could never retain those numbers and almost immediately went back to under 100. Sadly, DNF Duel just couldn't survive in a very competitive fighting game market. Despite the popularity of the IP, its unique systems and easy to pick up nature, and the fact that it had a pretty good launch, the game's ultimate failure is a great example of what happens when the developer simply refuses to communicate with their players. Love our fighting game content? Click here to check out our countdown of the most broken moves in fighting games. Shouts out to Cloud, Steph, B, Pass, Shampoo, and Yashichi for being patrons of the channel. If you enjoyed this video, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is much appreciated. My name is Jonah. Thanks for watching.